Hello, everyone. My name is Imran Ahmad. I'm a partner here at Norton Rose Fulbright Canada. And as every month, I am joined by my very good colleague, David Seevaratnam from our knowledge management team. And we are going to be recapping the latest information and developments in privacy law in Canada for the month of July of 2023. So, David, no surprise that we're in the middle of summer. Things are usually a bit slow, and so have been the developments in the area of privacy law in Canada, but you do have a few updates for us. And maybe if I could hand it over to you, the OPC recently published some guidance documents or information that would be helpful in terms of how you collect sensitive data. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Thanks, Imran. Yeah, that's right. So the OPC did publish a couple of blog posts, as you said, about how to deal with sensitive personal information. And that was to mark the first anniversary of its investigation into location tracking by the Tim Hortons app. So for businesses, the takeaways of the blog post included ensuring that any collection that you're doing of personal information by apps obtains users' meaningful consent and also is necessary for businesses' appropriate purposes. And for individuals, it had a different blog post about more generally increasing the security of mobile devices that you're using. So tips there included going through and deleting apps that you're no longer using and making use of options like private web browsing and those geolocation settings that we see on our mobile devices. So the OPC did take the opportunity of that for that summer lull to make some of these suggestions.
Right. So some good recaps based on prior investigations and just a good refresher for businesses looking to take away some key elements when they collect sensitive data.
Right.
Another development which is interesting, and I know whenever I speak with clients, we talk about administrative monetary penalties, they're concerned, where is this going? Where is it coming from? Understand that the Ontario Ministry of Health has published proposed AMPs. Can you tell us a little bit about what context they're proposing this and what it means exactly?
Yeah, that's right, Imran. So that power to impose the AMPs had been enacted with amendments back in 2020, but we in the privacy community and also I think the Ontario IPC itself had been eagerly awaiting for an actual regulatory framework for how to apply these AMPs, like what the range of penalties could be and what criteria should be taken into account. So in the spring, the ministry published a proposed regulation and setting out maximum penalties of $50,000 for individuals and $500,000 for organizations. But there's also the ability to modify those based on economic benefit gained from the contravention of the Health Information Protection Act in Ontario. So I'd say the big development for July was that the Ontario IPC published a letter that it sent to the Ministry of Health commenting on the regulations, and it was actually very supportive of the proposed regulatory text. And they commented that it strikes the right balance, especially in our new context of trying to build trust in the new digital health systems that are being developed. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens, but the support of the IPC has been made public, and perhaps we'll have that regulation published.
That's really interesting. So I do invite our listeners to check out the IPC's submission. It's available on its website, has some good insights, especially if they're supportive of what the ministry is suggesting here in terms of AMPs. It would be good for listeners to get a sense of what actually was submitted in the IPC to see what the rationale for that was. So that's a good pickup, David. Another one, Supreme Court of Canada denied leave for appeal in the Equifax trilogy. So we've talked about the Equifax trilogy quite a bit in recent months. David, can you tell us what this decision was about and what it means?
Yeah, so what it was about is probably a little quicker, which is just to say that in very brief reasons for each of those three appeals, the court declined to hear the appeal. which means, I guess, for those three, as well as the similar Uber class action that came out of Alberta, where they dismissed the application for leave to appeal. The Supreme Court has said they're not going to weigh in right now. So what it means is for these class actions cases where we're looking at the sort of the outer limits or contours of some of these questions of tort liability for database defendants. The court's saying we're not weighing in now, and the courts of appeal kind of are having the last word at the moment, which is really pumping the brakes on too great an expansion of these torts. So that could be of interest, I think, for businesses dealing with personal information for sure.
That is a major development in many ways, and I know it gives some certainty to private practitioners like myself and others who are in the space who are telling clients, this is where the law currently stands. Had leave been granted, it would have probably added a more uncertain period in terms of where this may be landing in the future, but at least gives some
Yes,
certainty for
exactly.
the time being. So there you go. We were able to do a quick review. As always, David, thank you for being concise and to the point. That's our wrap up for the month of July 2023. Join us again next month when we do the August wrap up with my good friend David. In the meanwhile, David does publish every week an excellent mailer on key developments in Canadian privacy law. If you'd like to sign up, please send David an email or send it to me, and we'll make sure you're added to the mailing list. And with that, wishing everybody a great summer or rest of the summer, and we'll be back next month. Thanks, David.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone.